Hello everybody, it's Milkbox, and I'm going to review the new Jurassic Park, otherwise known as Jurassic World. Um, Bear in mind that when I'm talking about this, there's going to be spoilers, so please, I do advise not really watching this video if you don't want to have anything spoiled for you. With that one out the way, the film is great. It was really, really enjoyable. I, I went with my entire family, and we enjoyed it vigorously. It wasn't disappointing. So it does drag at the start somewhat. I guess some people were saying, but I enjoyed it throughout the film, all of it. Is it better than the first, second, or third? Does it hold a candle to them? I think it does. I think it's unique in its own way. Maybe some people may prefer the first and whatever, but I actually preferred World. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Not to say I haven't seen the other Jurassic Parks for years now, but I don't know. This one just felt with all the modern technology that they have and all of the dinosaurs that we see and how that they're shown off now as amusement things even more so than before. I don't know. I just preferred this one. Um, the Indominus Rex, the antagonist of the film, as you will. How cool is it? Well, it's badass. Um, it's obviously like a crossbreed between like millions of other things. I don't even know. I know it's got like it's part snake, part chameleon, part raptor, um, but a part T-Rex. I'm assuming due to its Rex. I'm not so sure what else, but it's incredibly intelligent and when you watch this, you see this creature, and it's they tease it a lot throughout the film. You don't really, it doesn't really just appear, and you're like, oh, there he is. It's like here's a little glimpse of him, and you're like, well, I can't really see it, and then later in, then you see like its legs, and you're like, oh, well, what's the face look like? And that happens for quite a while in the film. It's like a horror where it teases the villain, and it's kind of cool because when you do see it, you're like, whoa, shit, that's amazing. It's terrifying. Um, the characters of the film. How are the characters? Well, the characters are alright. I mean, there's four main characters. I'm assuming. Well, I'm going off that you've got Owen and Claire who have like this romantic relationship in the past, and you can kind of see that they have like something going for them. And Owen is like this really like immature man who's very stubborn and seems to like only do what he wants, and at the same time he's how he talks and how he acts. He's like a 10-year-old, but he's got this like charm to him, and Claire's like this corporate like slave thing. She's always she's used to having this park under her and running it, and she's always busy and hectic. And then you got the other two characters, which are Zach and Gary. Um, and Zach, if I'm right, is the little boy, and Gary is the older brother. I may have those backwards though, but going off that, Zach is an extremely intelligent person. He's like a genius. He's like 8, but you all throughout the movie you do see him break down and really act like the child that he is. He gets scared a lot, whereas his older brother, who is usually irresponsible, has to take on the role looking after him. And I think the characters are great, but there are some minor characters in the background who don't really have a purpose, and I'll get to them a little later. But that's about really it. Is these characters? That's your full main. And there is another one, and they do mention previous characters from the other show, but those are the characters that have the most screen time. The sound of the film, loud. There was one particular jump scare later in the film where I was chewing popcorn, and I swallowed, and I got scared, and I nearly spat the popcorn out at the person in front of me, but thankfully I swallowed it because I love popcorn. Um, but the sound is good. The creatures as they well the dinosaurs when they move and they make sounds and they roar and do whatever dinosaurs do, it sounds authentic, I guess. I'm not to say that I'm from that era, and I'm not a time traveler, but it was good. It was the sounds I really did enjoy. Couldn't say that there was anything wrong with them. Um, the old Jurassic Park, it appears at one point they find it in the middle of the jungle, and it's cool how they go in and you see like all of these relics, um, these these things from the past that to today now and now are so primitive, and like I think it's Zach and he picks up like this hat with these like binoculars that come out, and you may remember from the first film where they have like night vision, I believe. And you see that, and you see like all the old Jurassic Park hats and all the old Jurassic Park logos and shirts and all that stuff. And the day that's not used, it's replaced with new things. And it was kind of like it kind of brought you back and think, wow, that's cool. To see all this again. And this is what happened to the place over the span of 20 odd years. Um, it was quite great. Um, Another thing is that obviously this film is about an entire world which the dinosaurs can walk around, do what they want, but they have like invisible barriers now. Um, and obviously people get bored with just dinosaurs. That's nothing now, and they want to create monsters. Let's say, which is like something that's usually brought up in the films that these aren't really dinosaurs; these are something else. When they make the Indominus Rex, and it's at the start of the movie that you kind of see the Indominus Rex as just another dinosaur, just another thing. But closer to the end, and some of the other characters, where they talk about dinosaurs and what purposes they want to use them for, you kind of understand and feel that these dinosaurs and everything else that you see in, they really are, be it they're animals, and they want to be used by people for the military and stuff like that. And you see this, and you're like, wow, that's no, that's quite a heavy subject to bring into a film that was never really prevalent in the other ones. I don't think. Um, and when you see all the things that creates the Indominus Rex and how they plan to want to use this thing for warfare, and you see the destruction scores, you're like, fuck, that's really a lot of how humanity really thinks. And if they ever did make another Jurassic Park where somebody, for argument's sake, was to use these dinosaurs for warfare, you could really imagine what would happen if these managed to break out and control, like, let's say, all of Africa or something, or all of South America. Um, you know, what would happen, and how they would spread across the world slowly and start to retake back what was theirs. It would be interesting to see how they would cope in the new climates and stuff. Um, there is one scene though near the end where one of the main characters, Clay, summons a T-Rex, and as she's running away from the T-Rex, she's in high heels. Now this scene's been talked about a bit, I believe, but it just, even I was sat there and I was thinking, either she's really good with high heels, or this is just bullshit. But she's running away full speed from a T-Rex, which I'm pretty fast, by the way, in high heels. And I don't know, like, it feels kind of weird in line with the rest of the film, how this character is now, even though like throughout the film they just show her changing from this businesswoman, and she'd like take her clothes off at one point, which is quite hilarious because um Owens or um Brad something's, I don't remember his name, um Pat, I think, Pratt, fuck. He'd his reactions were quite funny, and obviously you see this character undergoing a change, but to run in high heels is just absurd. I think I don't know. Um, what else? There's a raptor scene. So Owen, he's from the navy, but he'd train raptors, and he'd click his fingers together to mimic the raptors' like response when they click the floor with their like, giant claw thing. Um, and he's like their alpha male. He's in charge, and you see him training them, and how much respect he has for these animals, and how how like he's doesn't really see them as profit or anything. He just sees them as friends more than anything. Even though they try to eat him when he goes into the cage, it's quite funny, and the reactions that they give off, and how they're like looking for the cages at people and stuff. It was quite funny, and and how this other guy, I think his name was Vic, how he wants to use these animals to fight the Indominus or use them for warfare later, and how Owen doesn't want to do this, and it is pretty badass. Um, I'm gonna apologize in advance for this. There's a dinosaur name here that I actually had to write down because I couldn't remember it. But if I butcher it, I'm sorry. But the Apathosaurus, which is like this dinosaur, this really long neck, in the film. I had to copy and paste that from the wiki. Basically, you see a lot of those. You see one of those dying at one point, and even though it's a computer generated model, it's kind of a little upsetting. You see this thing, you're like, oh man, I like him. He's cool, and he's dying. You're like, no, don't die. And you notice then that this is for the Indominus Rex kill, but you realize he hasn't eaten him, so he's going to die a slow, painful death. And then you look over the field and see loads of them, and you realize that the Indominus Rex is now hunting for his sport because it just realizes it's so far up the food chain it can do what it wants. And it's the first time it's seen this environment, and it's depressing. You're looking at this creature who hasn't done anything wrong, and it's dying, and it really gives off a few emotions. Um, Zack and Gray, the brothers, the relationship between them, it's quite a weird one because like throughout the movie, obviously, Gary is an irresponsible teenager, and Zack is the kid. I still apologize if I got those back to front, but it's how like Zack is always so intelligent. He's like, how much does the island weigh and this and that, and Gary obviously doesn't really give a shit, and how these two characters, um, well, I don't really believe they change too much over the course of the film. I think the only one that does change really is Gary and how he becomes less responsible. There's quite a funny scene at the start where he's talking to his girlfriend and he doesn't really give off too much interaction, and how the father is like he's not going off to war, and it's quite funny, and how he's felt the entire movie he's staring at other girls, and like Zach will be like, well, why are you gonna stare at them? It's not gonna do anything, and it embarrasses Gary. They don't really go into much change, but the characters are pretty good as it is. But more the movie's based around Owen and Claire, which, like I said before, had a past relationship. And doing the entire film, it's really like Owen trying to track down the Indominus Rex, coming across, and at the same time trying to find Zack and Gary, who are also out in the world. And Claire is worried all the time because like these are her, like children, sister's children that she hasn't seen in years, and she's panicking that she's gonna get her head ripped off by her sister. And Owen is just like, you gotta listen to me if you want to survive out here. Don't be an idiot. Um, it's they're pretty good characters. The ending with Owen and Claire is kind of like easy to understand. You'd be like, as soon as you see they have a past relationship, you can kind of figure out that later in the movie they're gonna rekindle it in some shape or form. But I think Owen's reactions, Brad Pratt's reactions throughout the film to Claire, I don't know who played her, is pretty good. How childish she is, like it reminds me of how I act around people. It's quite funny. The final fight scene between the T-Rex and the Indominus is pretty good because you're watching the fight and you're like, well, who is really the king of the dinosaurs? And the Indominus Rex obviously kicks the shit out of the T-Rex. But at the same time, then a raptor comes in and it helps fend off the Indominus Rex from defeating the T-Rex, which is also one of the raptors that Owen trained. And you see this fight and you see how the T-Rex gets the upper hand and beats the shit out of the Indominus Rex. So it makes you wonder that even though they were crossbreed, the Indominus Rex, even though it was a crossbreed, the T-Rex was still pretty much its equal. Despite almost losing, it was still more or less its equal, even though it had that slight advantage of a raptor. It was still some equal because early in the film you see this Indominus Rex tear apart all these raptors. So I don't think it's really that much of a game changer. Obviously, when the Indominus Rex is into like an electrical fence and then like weakened. He's already weakened anyway, but when he hits the electrical fence, that's him. He's down and out. He would have been killed by the T-Rex if it had continued anyway. But forgive me once again if I mispronounce this, but the Mosasaurus, I think it's called, It's like a crocodile basically. Um, Comes up and like pulls it under, and that's the end of the Indominus Rex. Um, but like I said, even though the Mosaurus delivers the final blow to the Indominus Rex, it's more or less T-Rex that defeated the Indominus. That was kind of the more important fight, but they didn't. And like at the end, especially where the wounded T-Rex is staring above the entire park, which is now being evacuated, and he's like roaring, or she's roaring to the distance to say that, I'm still the king, I've reclaimed my land. You do really see that, the T-Rex really is still the supreme monster or dinosaur. One problem I have with the film is Zach and Gary's parents are very rarely seen. I think they're seen in 2, 3 scenes. Once at the start, you see like the mother like halfway through the film, and at the end of the film, that's it. The only problem with this is that early in the film it's implied they're being divorced, and that's it. It doesn't go anywhere. There's no real reason for you to care. It doesn't. The characters don't show much more emotion after that. It's never talked about again, as far as I'm aware. It's just never brought up again, and it feels kind of like unneeded or pointless. It's literally in all they talk about it for 1 minute, and at the end of the film, when you see the parents again, they don't seem like they don't. You can't tell if they're having a divorce or if they really back together again. It would have been nice to have seen that emotional strain weaken Zach and Gary. That would have been much better, I think. But that's just me. And but one last thing: the effects of the film, the animation. All the dinosaurs look really good. A lot of the close-ups on the eyes of the things blinking and their teeth, fantastic. I really, really thought it was top technology at its work. I did enjoy it. I think it was really, really great. All the dinosaurs, the Indominus Rex, looked fantastic. It was really great. That's about it, really. I still recommend you see the film. I don't believe in giving ratings. I think they're quite arbitrary, giving like a number, because they never really mean much. After the span of so many videos, and also just go and see it. It's good. Bet popcorn, because popcorn's great. And that's about it. Okay, guys, remember to subscribe to the milkiest channel on the internet for the latest gameplay, commentary, reviews, and all that other stuff that people care about.